Found this video the other day of this supposed Muslim claiming that there's like this great replacement happening. Just listen to this. I don't buy for a second that this is real.
Would you like to see Sharia law in Canada replace Canadian law?
At some point it will. You know, because we have families, we are making babies. You're not. Your population is going down the slump.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And by 2060, according to Pew Research Institute, your research, by 2060, Muslims will be the biggest religious group the world over.
Right.
What are you going to do then?
Actually,
to oppose Sharia is even then?
I'm sorry, man. I don't buy that this is real at all. First of all, this is espousing a conspiracy theory called the Great Replacement, and it was used in Germany to justify the Holocaust. Jews will not replace us. You know, that whole call. It was literally like 2% of the population in Germany at the time. It was so infinitesimally small. But they claimed that they are having children when good German Aryan people are not having children, and that's going to lead to a replacement. They're going through this exact thing in Britain right now, claiming that Muslims are going to replace all of the white people or whatever. It's just delusion. That's not how anything has ever worked. We're going through this in America too, claiming that immigrants are outnumbering, U.S. citizens because they're having more children. They're coming here and they're having children or whatever. It's delusion. This is not happening. And I'll explain why in a second. Just listen to the rest of this.
you do want a Muslim majority nation in the West End, correct?
Just like you had a Western majority nation in the land of Native Americans, one day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada. Right in your face.
We have Canadian law here, and you say that you want Sharia law to displace Canadian law. That doesn't sound very respectful.
In majority, you wouldn't have any other option. Go to your queen and tell her to change the laws.
Change the laws to what, sir? To Sharia law?
No, change the laws to not allow any more Muslims to come to Canada. We owe our allegiance.
Yeah, this is very obviously a right-wing nutcase who's, like, trying to fearmonger, right?
And our loyalty first and
At best. I mean, I'm seeing a ton of cuts and stuff in here.
our allegiance and our loyalty first and foremost to our religion, not to the queen. To be honest, when I went for my so-called oath, I was silent. I didn't say anything. It was your responsibility to make sure you got it out of me.
This is insane and sad and ridiculous. So let's talk about this. This conspiracy theory has existed since the dawn of time, honestly. You guys know Destiny? You remember he debated JonTron all these years ago? We're talking 2017.
You're nothing. That's good. You made my point for me. I agree that where you're from doesn't define who you are, that anybody can go to a country and be part of that country. So then why are we so worried about white displacement?
Because it's real. Do you want me to send you a link? Would you here?
What does white displacement mean?
Here, have a look at this chart here. That's what it looks like. You can show that on the stream if you'd like to. They're going to be, I mean, at this rate, you know, the whites would be a minority by 2042.
There you go, 2042. We're getting numbers now. 2042, 5 years ago or whenever, at 10 years ago, I don't know how long ago, 8. 2060 now. There's always some future fear-mongering number to lay down. It's absurd.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, why does it matter if a certain skin color is a minority?
Because you and people of your ilk would freak out had the situation been flipped.
I don't know how these people fall for this absolute ridiculous nonsense. How do people fall for this great replacement trash? Listen to David Pakman describe the great replacement conspiracy in terms of like American culture. The claim that immigrants are coming in, flooding our country, and then like voting against Republicans or whatever other trash. This is the justification for ICE existing and doing all of the nefarious, disgusting shit that they're doing.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
If naturalized immigrants vote for Democrats 60-40, because remember, even though a lot of people like Tucker want you to believe that all immigrants are very left-wing, the truth is that Cubans and Venezuelans are not very left-wing. There are lots of Asian immigrants that are not left-wing. There are many Eastern European immigrants that are not left-wing. Anyway, let's imagine that naturalized immigrants by a 60-40 margin vote for Democrats.
Cubans are especially very, very right-wing.
for Democrats. That means that for every 500,000 immigrants that become citizens, that's only 100,000 vote margin for Democrats. When you compare that to population growth,
I mean, it literally takes like 7 years before you can vote in federal elections anyway. Like, you have to go through the whole process of not just getting a visa, but getting a green card as a permanent resident. And then you have to get citizenship, which involves taking a test. It takes years to actually get to the point where you can even take the test. You got to take an oath and all this other stuff. So this is just complete trash.
Compare that to population growth. When you compare that to people who move between states, it's a drop in the bucket when you talk about bringing people in, having them wait the 5 years before they can request citizenship, and then the additional period to go through that process. If this is how Democrats are trying to win, it's a very stupid strategy.
It was always a stupid strategy, but that doesn't stop. I mean, it was always a stupid idea. It doesn't exist. It has never existed. That's not how populations function. But that doesn't stop people from Tucker fear-mongering about it. You know, Pacman mentioned Tucker a minute ago. Listen to Tucker talk about it.
I'm laughing because this is one of about 10 stories that I know you've covered, where the government shows preference to people who have shown absolute contempt for our customs, our laws, our system itself, and they're being...
Who shows contempt for our customs or laws or whatever? What immigrants does he think are out trying to destroy the United States? It's delusion.
And they're being treated better than American citizens. Now, I know that the left and all the little gatekeepers on Twitter become literally hysterical if you use the term replacement.
Well, I'm not becoming hysterical. I just think that you're a f***ing idiot now, is all.
Suggest that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. But they become hysterical because that's what's happening, actually.
No, it's not. It's not happening. It was never happening. It wasn't happening in 2017 when John Tron said it, and it's not happening now when that right-wing grifting scumbag said that stuff about Canada. It's not happening.
Truly. Let's just say it. That's true. If this was happening in your house, if you were in 6th grade, for example, and without telling you, your parents adopted a bunch of new siblings and gave them brand new bikes and let them stay up later and help them with their homework and gave them...
So who do you think is getting to stay up later? Who do you think is getting a brand new bicycle? This is not happening. Immigrants are not treated better than U.S. citizens. They never were. They're treated worse than U.S. citizens this entire time. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
Twice the allowance that they gave you. You would say to your siblings, I think we're being replaced by kids that our parents love more. And it would be kind of hard to argue against you because look at the evidence. So this matters on a bunch of different levels, but on the most basic level, it's a voting rights question. In a democracy, one person equals one vote. If you change the population, you dilute the political power of the people who live there.
You're right, Tucker. You know what? I think you're right. We need to stop having children. Nobody should ever have children ever again. Ban having children so that Tucker's vote is worth more than anybody else's.
So every time they import a new voter, I become disenfranchised as a current voter.
Boy, don't tell him about people who have kids, for real. That would really upset him, I bet.
So I don't understand why we don't understand this. I mean, everyone wants to make a racial issue out of it. Ooh, the white replacement theory. No. This is a voting rights question. I have less political power because they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that?
But that's not happening. This is just pure unadulterated delusion. Dollar Straw says Tucker is so fucking evil. He is. Absolutely. He is an evil human being. I don't say that about everybody, truthfully, but this dude is about as depraved as it gets.
The power that I have as an American guaranteed at birth is one man, one vote, and they're diluting it. No.
Having children is not diluting your vote, quote unquote. It's just how democracy works. My God, everything focuses on him. He is the center of the universe in his worldview.
And they're diluting it. No, they're not allowed to do that. Why are we putting up with this?
No, like, notice how this one dude didn't get a single word in edgewise. Like, you just kept going, yeah, uh-huh. These people are disgusting, dude, honestly. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I can't believe that people still buy into this great replacement trash.